So I write her back. I say, whose tarantula was it? She writes me back and says, LOL PetSmart for $32.55. And then I said, and at this point, I'm like, I want to see if I can get her to admit to a crime. Like she seems really off kilter and maybe really dumb, which was a rude thing for me to think because it ended up not being true. She was a lot more savvy than I gave her credit for.
She freaking clamped down on your ploy.
So I wrote her back and I said, did you buy it with the intention of one day throwing it at someone, or was that a game time decision?
I can fix so.
BritBox app.
It's so weird the way that we go through phases all together as a society. Like, remember when everyone was watching Bird Box and then everything was about Bird Box? I never watched it because I don't watch scary stuff. And then
it wasn't scary. It was just really dumb.
That's what I heard.
It didn't make any sense. But
well, I never
watched
watched
my business, I guess.
I just think it's weird how people like everyone collectively fixates on one thing at a time. Like Tiger King was insane. The mania.
I think people miss monoculture.
Yeah, they do.
I think they do.
That's right.
Because it used to be that like we all watched Survivor on Wednesdays. We all watched Friends on Thursdays. And so we knew what we were going to talk about on Fridays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't know if I can talk to you about it because I don't know if you're on the same episode as I am.
We have nothing to talk about. We have no way to connect with each other.
Every aspect of life is worse. Thank you to the bigwigs at Netflix. Appreciate you, Susan Sarandon. What's that guy's name? Ted
Sarandos. Overdose?
Ted Sarandos. Okay, anyways.
Ted. You're going to Sarandos.
No, Netflix. You're going to Sarandos. Welcome to Text Me Back podcast. The only podcast that's so good at podcasting that they know how to introduce a podcast. I'm Megan Hatcher-Mays.
And I'm Lindy West. And you know what, Megan? We're so good at podcasting that we keep having these meetings with professional podcasting companies where they're considering like buying our podcast or whatever. And then at the end of the meetings, they say, you know what? No, you don't need us. You're too good at podcasting.
It's true. Yeah. The rejection is a gift.
Yeah. It's a compliment.
They were like, you don't want too many cooks in that kitchen, which is the most perfect kitchen we've ever seen.
They're like, do you want to buy us?
Do you?
We want to learn from you.
Well, do you? You know, they say they're giving out a Golden Globe for podcasting. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
We're not eligible.
Why?
Because we're not popular enough. I think it's only open to like the top. It's only open to the top 25 podcasts or something like that.
What?
So congrats to Joe Rogan, A of all. And B of all, what listeners, this one's for you. What are you doing? Call your friends. Tell them to listen to our show. We're trying to get a Golden Globe. And then after that, it's just the E, O, and the T. But everyone knows the G is the hardest. No. Golden Globes aren't even part of EGOT. No. I just remembered, no, the G is for Grammy.
Why wouldn't there be a Grammy for a podcast?
Why isn't there a Grammy for a podcast? And why isn't my name on it?
It's famously an Audially award.
Hello, Jeffrey Gramophone. What my goddamn award.
Anyway, Theo Vaughn, if you're listening, please have us on as guests.
Oh, the Hollywood Foreign Press said our podcast is the best.
They said, we heard you on Theo Vaughn and je t'aime.
That's amore. Oh Lord, she's still sick, folks.
She is.
She's
still sick, folks.
Roughing it over there. Well, on today's podcast, we will be submitting this for Golden Globe consideration. Haters be damned. And by haters, I do mean the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Association.
Attenzione, associazione. You're on notice.
You're on notice, Associazione. Okay. Okay. Anyway, on today's show, we're dipping our creepy little fingers all the way into the mailbag, and we're very excited to read you some I don't even want to say. You know what I mean? Like cliffhanger. Just stay tuned because some of these letters are gonna rock your world, sister.
One of the encounters that we had in the mailbag this week, I was screaming out loud at the grocery store. I was doing my grocery shopping while Megan was updating me on this tale. Screaming.
If you end up screaming in the grocery store due to this story, give us a call, 703-829-0003, and just scream into the voicemail if you don't mind.
Megan,
thanks.
Guess what happened to me in my dream?
What?
In my dream last night.
What happened?
In my dream last night, I remembered the podcast phone number. without
the mnemonic.
Without using my mnemonic. Pod tax. Oof. The O's are zeros.
The O's are zeros.
I remembered it perfectly in my sleep.
Oh, that's amazing. And did it stick?
Couldn't tell you the first number.
Yep. Even though I just said it.
Yep.
Yep. That's right. The brain works good.
Yep. There's a 2 in it and a 9.
Yeah.
3 zeros.
Yeah, you know that. Oof.
0003.
Yes. Nailed it.
829-0003, but could not possibly tell you the area code.
Not important. Just text every area code with 829-0003 and see who answers.
Oh, speaking of area codes, can we really quickly address?
No, save it for after. Text me back after.
All right.
No, please. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could tease it. To lure the masses.
No, let them have
the number of subscribers we would get if we tease this as an After Dark.
Once you hear this rant.
No, Seattle has run out of phone numbers.
That's what they say.
And they're giving us a new area code, and it's disgusting.
That's what I'm hearing.
I don't even want to say what it is.
Ugh. The combination of numbers are vulgar.
I mean, honestly,
okay.
I don't know. I wiped it. I don't remember what it is, but it's like 971 or something.
No, it's 564. I am sick, absolutely sick at the thought that my younger nephew, who just turned 10 and doesn't have a cell phone yet,
oh my God,
might get saddled with a 564.
Dude.
Oh, disgusting.
Dude.
Disgusting. Ugh.
I don't understand.
But by the way, this means my phone number can never leak.
Yeah.
Because if I have to replace my beloved 206 with a 564, I might as well switch over to 202, which is the DC area code. Although I think they've run out of 202s as well.
Dude, is there like a black market, like on the dark web? Can you go buy area code phone numbers?
I'm sure. I think people do that with license plates.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you probably could. My parents, I wish I could just tell you the number.
I know.
But my parents used to work for the phone company, and they have my phone number growing up was one of the most sensational phone numbers of all time. I truly wish I could just tell you what it is, but it's still one of my parents' phone numbers.
Oh.
But it's sequential. It's sequential. So imagine a phone number that's just 206-123-4567. It's so beautiful, and it's been in the family for decades. And I just wonder what the bidding war is going to be like when my parents' phone number hits the streets again.
Can you leave someone a phone number in your will?
God, I wonder. It's a great number.
My childhood phone number growing up was also not as good as yours, but also I loved it. It's so good. It's all in the center column.
Mm-hmm.
I was so mad when my parents got rid of it, and then like, okay, I have a big question about this that I've been I need help. Because I'm resentful that some man has my phone number. I still use it as like my loyalty number at like Safeway. But all I'm doing is giving that man my benefits.
Yeah, he's like, wow, why do I have $5,000 in free gas?
Except that once in a while, oh my God, is this crime? Once in a while, I will go to the Safeway gas and it'll be like, do you want free gas? And I'm like, yes, I do. Am I stealing? Am I stealing from this man?
No, he stole your phone number.
That's right. He did. That's right.
If you think about it. If you think about it. Yeah.
But like, I know it would be so much more logical to just actually use my phone number and collect my own points instead of sharing them with a stranger. But whatever.
But you know what was fun was, and this used to be like a hack you could do if you were ever traveling to other cities too. But a lot of people refuse to sign up for the rewards benefit at QFC or whatever. So for a long time at the Broadway QFC, everybody was just using 206-867-5309. And that phone number had like $1 million in rewards points or whatever, because everybody used it. And like QFC corporate, big QFC found out about it and like canceled the number and like everything was gone. And then everyone had to sign up using their own numbers. It was such a tragedy, but it was so great because like, it just gave me this thought. I was like, if I'm traveling and I go to a grocery store, like for example, I lived in Chicago for a summer when I was in law school. And I was like, I don't want to have to get a loyalty card at the Food Lion or the Vons. There's no Vons or Food Lion where I live. Yeah. I don't want to give them my data for no reason. So I just would do 312-867-5309 and that would work because some enterprising genius had signed up for it. But now I think they've taken it out of every store's system because every time I try to use that instead of signing up for a card, it never works. Boo.
See, okay, you know what that is? It's collective action, mutual aid. Truly being suppressed by the system. Because there's no reason why we can't if only we all got together and shared one loyalty card number, free gas for everyone all the time.
Think about it, man. Anyway, and that's Area Codes with Lindy and Meagan. But on today's show, we're dipping into mailbag. But first, before we go into our mailbag, have you signed up for our new Patreon tier yet? It still doesn't have a name, although we have some options. We're going to run a poll at some point this week, if you're listening. So check the Patreon and vote in the poll. But so far we have Ancient Toads, American Popes, BBW Insider Trading,
Yep.
Or Big Beautiful Listeners, aka BBL.
Yeah.
So we were a little cautious about putting the acronym BBW in one of the Patreon tiers.
Right.
Given that if someone had listened to one episode and were like, I'm so moved by how funny and good the show is, I must sign up for the $12 tier immediately. And they go to our Patreon, patreon.com/textmebackpod. And they see there's a BBW tier. Would they say, what's all this then? Because they don't know the lore yet.
Yeah.
So we're not sure. But I feel like if you do BBW Insider Trading, people would feel like it's not the porn tier. I don't know.
I think Big Beautiful Listeners is so funny.
That's from our friend of the show, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
He sent that to me. Thanks, Brian. So we'll do a little poll. I'm rooting for Ancient Toads or Big Beautiful Listeners. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure, but we'll see. It's up to you, listeners, to decide.
How about the gust of wind rattling through some ancient bones tier?
Lindy's death rattle.
Yeah, that's a good
tier. Yeah, that's a good tier.
All right.
So stay tuned. But the Patreon has lots of good stuff for you, including if you sign up at the $12 tier, ad-free listening. Ooh, exciting.
We have finally conquered the technology.
Thank you, producer Allie.
By we, Lindy did not help.
Also, Meagan didn't really. So shout out to Allie Slice, a woman with one of the greatest names of all time. Thank you, producer Allie. Okay, take a moment, go to patreon.com/textmebackpod. sign up at the $12 tier if you're feeling generous. We'll be right back with some really interesting nuggets from the Text Me Back mailbag.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome back to Text Me Back podcast. It's time for a very important segment that we don't do often enough because we're too lazy to read. It's called Mailbag, 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 Mailbag. Wee, wee, wee. Mail alarm.
Oh,
That's the jingle.
Do you know the Blue's Clues one? I think I used to babysit so much I had it memorized. It was, here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me wanna. I don't remember. Oh wait, it makes me wanna scream and yell. Is that right? Mail. Anyway, well, if you're Steve from Blue's Clues, let me know if that was right.
Meagan, unfortunately, we can't use that one because it already belongs to Blue's Clues, but we can use the one that I just wrote, which is called Mailbag: Mail Alarm.
We cleared that one with legal.
Wee, wee, wee.
Okay.
Mail alarm.
Lindy, what's in the mailbag?
Oh my God. Okay, Meagan, I'm so excited to start out this mailbag segment with a positive letter that we got. We got the nicest letter, and it was very flattering. You know, it's just nice when you get confirmation that the podcast is making its way out into the world. People are listening. It's making a difference. Listen to
all four corners.
Yes, listen to how nice this is. Hi, Lindy and Meagan. First of all, hi. Thank you. Thank you for saying hi. We caught the mention of our animal-friendly idioms during yesterday's episode and wanted to thank you for bringing them up. We know you got your listeners thinking about the power of the words we use and how they either normalize violence against animals or promote kindness to them. If we can ever serve as a resource for you on this or any other animal issue, please reach out. We'd be happy to hear from you. Thanks again, PETA.
Oh, da, 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 da. This was about, instead of saying kill two birds with one stone, PETA says you should say feed two birds with one scone. And we brought it up like as a joke for 2 seconds in an episode a few weeks ago.
Now, I don't know if someone from PETA listens to this podcast, or
oh Lord,
more likely they have some kind of a little robot that scrubs the internet searching every automated transcript of every podcast for a mention of the word PETA. Because how on earth did Wes Burdett, press officer media relations at People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, immediately, within hours?
It was probably within 3 hours of the episode going. It was definitely the same day that the episode went up.
We get this email.
I mean, here's the thing. I love animals. I am a meat eater, but I do love animals. My husband works for an animal rescue, et cetera, et cetera. And Wes, I'm so sorry to pull you into this, but man, do I hate the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, DBA PETA. Boy, do I hate those jabronis. I certainly do. Listen, here's where PETA excels. Going after that Chimp Crazy lady.
Yep. We loved that.
I love that. And that's where the list ends. Everything else y'all do, it's a mess. It's a mess. I was just, after we got this, I was like, God, I hate them so much. And I was trying to remember all the reasons why. And I was like, first of all, the word ethics is in the name, right? PETA's ad campaigns, for as long as I can remember, have just been naked women being like, I'd rather go naked than wear fur. And it's like, yeah, wearing fur is weird. I agree. Like, that's an odd, just feels like a senseless animal death in a way that like eating a cheeseburger doesn't, and like, you know, it provides you no sustenance. But like, I mean, maybe it's not unethical, but it is just like, hey guys, we found this hot babe from television to tell you to become a vegan. It just is like, maybe that's not technically from a philosopher's standpoint unethical, but I was like, you couldn't think of anything more creative than titties.
It's definitely leveraging our society's toxic gender roles.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's definitely like the subtext is, hey, are you on the fence about becoming vegan? What if we showed you a slut? You know?
And is that ethical treatment of an animal we call a human woman? I feel like it's not, but I can do you one better. Did you know that PETA, as recently as 2009, which is not long enough ago, was showing up at dog shows dressed as the fucking Klan? Did you know that? Basically saying, oh, people who breed dogs are the same as like eugenicists and the KKK. Question number one, where did you get the KKK costume from? Where did you rent it? And if so, from what did you have it made? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Did you already have it?
Was it your grandpa's? Because what the fuck is this? And then they did an ad campaign where they compared, you know, animals at the zoo or animals in cages to human chattel slavery. And I gotta stop you right there. I freaking love animals. I surely do. I do not recall any tigers being present at the March on Washington. When Black people were fighting for civil rights, which animal was present? Which animal spoke at that rally? No animal. That was human beings who did that. Stop fucking comparing Black people to animals, you psychopaths. And I checked before I went on this rant. Did they ever apologize for that? No, they never fucking did. Not that I saw. Wes, if you're listening, send me the apology and I'll correct the record. But I could not find any reference of PETA ever apologizing for dressing like the Klan at a dog show.
If you're a professor of ethics, can you let us know the ethics of comparing human Black people to dogs?
Could you? Let us know.
Could you?
Maybe it's just technically amoral, but it's not unethical.
I don't know.
In which case, I'll correct the record. It's just gross, but technically ethical.
Well, also, though, if ethics are constructed by humans, can't we change the ethics and make it unethical?
Great point. I've changed it. The humans took a vote. We decided that we changed it. I don't know. It just is weird. It just like, I want to support you all because, again, the Chimp Crazy lady really deserved it. You really let her have it.
I loved when PETA let her have it.
I loved your Chimp Crazy work.
Yeah.
I loved you in Chimp Crazy.
More of that. There are so many weirdos with tigers in their yards. And I'm sure you know that and you're on it. But like, focus on that more and maybe less on like showing me tits.
Like, they were trying to argue in federal court that orcas at SeaWorld, their rights under the 13th Amendment were being violated. I love orcas. And Blackfish is the saddest documentary I've ever seen. And yet, the 13th Amendment does not apply to whales. It applies to my actual ancestors. You fucking dickheads.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Look, maybe you gotta do your own amendment. You know?
Yes.
I would support it. I would sign the Be Nice to Animals amendment.
I just was so disturbed to find myself on PETA's love list.
Yeah.
Because I really don't care for you all. I really don't.
Well, but also there's obviously a not so subtle tone because Wes knows we were making fun of them.
Correct.
And so there's this like sneering kind of passive aggressive, like, it's like, my mom told me that if someone is bullying me, I should just say, well, thank you for the compliment. You know, like,
Yeah.
do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like there's something like,
words can never hurt me.
like, there's something like embarrassing about it. I don't know. It's
Well,
like,
I don't know. There's just like a lot of condescension among the PETA people, I think. And the thing is, like, I wanna be better. You know, I really do. You people dressing as the KKK, comparing black people to animals, couldn't be me. So I just want to say to all of you, you may have seen us. Actually, we got tagged in a post that PETA made from their verified account. So for everyone listening, I just want you to know I hate them.
Yeah.
So much. I rebuke the endorsement of PETA until they apologize to me personally.
It's very, very white to
Extremely
make blanket proclamations about what is and isn't ethical without taking into consideration at all like indigenous foodways and like you know, I'm sorry, like you have to have some kind of nuanced thought about like the way that human beings live and take care of each other, and like
centuries of tradition and rituals and all of the stuff that goes into it. By the way, not talking about the factory farm system. That's not anybody's culture,
right?
As far as I am aware. But you know, there's a lot of people and a lot of cultures who rely on hunting and they use the whole animal. To me, I would describe that as perfectly ethical.
Right. Look, I wouldn't even describe myself as an ethical meat eater, to be clear.
I'm not.
And so, PETA, go ahead and write me off. I know you're listening. That's fine. It's so white to be like, eating animals is mean, and anyone who does it is the KKK. Like,
yeah, right. Anyone who has a pet. Oh, yeah. By the way, they're protesting dog breeders at the dog show. Wes, don't look into Kevin's background, please. Kevin did not arrive on Earth ethically, I will tell you what.
Okay, how about this, PETA? Sorry, in the year 2025, can you throw that heft behind stopping climate change? If you want to save the animals, I'm going to say you got to back burner the dog breeders.
I know.
Fish,
not important.
The concept of fish itself is going out the window. Can we work on that?
Seems unethical. You know, unfortunately, what I think we're inviting is for someone from PETA to send us a very well-sourced report about something or another that we've said that they should do. And I don't want it. Don't send it to me.
I don't want it.
Don't respond to this at all. I don't care. Go away.
This is
don't look over here.
This is rhetorical, and it's for us. Look, I don't think that I know more about this than probably the people who are doing policy work at PETA or whatever. So that's fine. Don't email me. Don't email me.
Don't email me. Why don't you just work internally on developing a class and race conscious approach to ethical treatment of animals? And in the meantime, I'm gonna go beat a dead horse. How you like that, fucker?
Hey,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring home the bacon.
Meagan, no.
You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Don't do it, Meagan. Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it to him.
I'm gonna eat all the scones myself. Bob, 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 Bob.
Actually, 2 birds is a segue into our next mailbag letter.
Oh my God, that's
which
so true.
Actually is genuinely extremely nice. It's not a bait and switch like the last one. This is from Elise, who is a federal worker in Virginia. And to you, Elise, I say, oh, girl, I hope it's going okay. I'm thinking of you. And I hope that Elon does not discover whatever it is that you do for a living. And he leaves you and your colleagues alone. Anyway, we got this letter from Elise, and it reminded me of something that we did that I had zero memory of. Yep. So it was
Same.
It was like reading a story about me when I had amnesia or something. I don't know. It was like somebody trying to remind me of my own life. It was great.
It was like you're Goldie Hawn and you're watching Overboard.
Yes. Yeah. This lady Elise tricked me into being her kid's stepmom. And I had no memory of my previous life. Okay, no. So Elise writes in, she says, "Hi, Lindy and Meagan. Last spring, you helped me name the cardinal and gray catbird males who were living in my yard, Guy Fieri, which is what Lindy named the cardinal, and Anthony Cosby-Knowles, which is what I, Meagan, named the gray catbird, but they have taken to calling him Tony. I never updated you on their doings last year, but Tony fledged 2 nests of chicks. He and my husband were in a heated battle over who would get to the right blackberries first every morning. But my husband relented once he saw the second nest. Tony! Anyway, she says, husbands supporting husbands, which I love. That's what this podcast is about. Anyway, she says, while Guy has been screaming his little heart out for weeks, I'm very excited to say that Tony is back in town. A male and female gray catbird were bopping around today, so I choose to believe that Tony and his wife, Beyonce, came back to my yard because they remembered the blackberries. And exciting news, we now have an opossum living in a tree in our yard too. No pressure, but we are taking suggestions for a name. I am sincerely grateful for the levity that Text Me Back brings to my life. My husband and I are federal employees living in the DMV. That's DC, Maryland, Virginia, for those of you who don't know. And shit is rough right now. This podcast has always been a little treat in my week, but never more so than in the last 3 months. So thank you for being hilarious and making me cackle while walking my dog or taking the metro and helping me earn some weird stares. You are welcome. That is the Text Me Back guarantee. Ostracizing our listeners in public with jokes.
What are we naming this possum?
God, I don't know. I don't know.
How?
But really quick.
Yeah.
I got this email and I was like, God, I did name a bird Anthony Cosby-Knowles, didn't I?
I remember.
I forgot all about that.
Like, I remember that combination of words. I do not remember the bird naming. It must have been like week 2 of the show or something. Like
I did not recall it at all. I mean, I remember talking about Anthony Cosby-Knowles, one of the most important people in my life, who was front row at a Beyonce concert. And she said, "What's my name?" And he goes, "Say my name, say my name." Anyway, I hope he's doing well wherever he is. I hope so
too. But yeah, it's like it's a ghost. It's a whisper of a memory, and I'm struggling to grab it. But anyway, like I almost feel like it was at a live show or something.
Maybe.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is these birds are thriving. Ugh. And I'm sorry, am I to understand that Anthony Cosby-Knowles has 2 families? Is he?
Sure.
Is that why are there 2 nests?
I'm not sure if he has 2 nests, which means 2 wives, or if he just came back twice with the same wife.
He and his wife have a second home.
Parentheses Beyonce.
Right.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
I'm going to go with the second. I'm going to go with the second one.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. We don't like alternative lifestyles on this podcast.
No,
thank you.
No one who hosts this podcast would ever do anything other.
Yeah, that's right.
Then one guy, one girl.
Yeah.
One guy, one girl.
Adam and Eve.
That's what they say.
Not Beyonce - Carter, Anthony Knowles, and Steve.
And Tony.
What?
Why did we name him that? No, I know why I did.
Okay, but can we talk about the opossum?
We can.
How about Pippi Longstocking?
Sold.
Pippi Longpossum.
Possum Longstocking. I don't know.
Possum Longstossum. John Stossel.
There it is. Give me a break. Remember he used to say that.
Okay, we're gonna.
John Stossel did then end up becoming like a Fox News pilled right wing freak, so maybe not John Stossel.
He's not good. And we love possums. Possums never been more important than right now during the tick boom.
For sure.
We're having a tick explosion all over this earth.
And they are not, I repeat, not vectors for rabies. They are friends.
They're gobbling up all the ticks by the pawful, and they are not giving anyone rabies. And
not a one.
And they're cute as hell.
Yeah, that's
so
true. They are really
They're
cute.
really cute.
I think perhaps we turn this over to the listeners.
Yeah.
Listeners, what should Elise name the possum? So far, we've got Possum Longstossum. We've got John Stossum. I'm surprised you didn't come up with the bow and yang pun. That's always your go-to.
I'm not one to shoehorn a pun. It has to work.
Yeah, totally agree. If there's one thing about Lindy, her puns always make sense. I think the listeners are going to have to assist. So let us know. Dear text me back at gmail.com, 703-829-0003. Or I don't know, just yell it really loud. And I'll probably hear.
Yeah.
All of our mailbag mail are about animals.
Oh,
Because the last one is about an animal too.
okay. Well, we should come up with a pun for an animal themed mailbag, such as
Anna mailbag.
you got it. You nailed it. You nailed it. That was beautiful.
Okay, here's the last one. And this was the one that unfortunately killed Lindy in the grocery store.
Yeah.
By the way, this piece of mail came to my personal email address. It did not go to the podcast email. I don't know how you people are finding this, but I don't like it. I don't like that. You know?
Well, at least it didn't come to your personal phone number, because then you would know that there was a leak.
And then I'd be stuck with 564.
Also, I'd like to say, Wes, if you're listening, you might want to cover your ears, because this story contains animal cruelty.
Yes. Trigger warning for our listeners at PETA.
And honestly, trigger warning for me. I did not enjoy hearing about this.
Me neither. Okay. So this email came through. We are not going to use this person's name because I truly do not want to give this woman the satisfaction.
Well, and what she's looking for is press. And so
Yes,
we are not.
Yes. She reached out to
doing
be
it.
a guest on the podcast. And I was like, I'm sure this is spam, but I'll just double check and see what this email says. And for our purposes, we will call this person Mama Demonica because she is a demon.
Is it libelous to call someone a demon?
Well, we're not using her name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's only libel if it's not true.
All right. So she says, hi there. I am a candidate for U.S. Senate, mother, psychology BA, and then in quotation marks, tarantula tosser. Now, immediately I'm hooked. Immediately I say, whoever this person is, I absolutely have to have her on the podcast. What do you mean, quote unquote, tarantula tosser?
I'm sold.
What are you talking about?
Done.
Yeah. So then she says, I'd love to come on. I'd love to come on with you and laugh/riff off of each other like I did in this show with Jeff Macalino, clean/humor. And then she sends me a YouTube link to her appearance on Jeff Macalino's podcast, and I did not click on it.
Yeah, actually, we should watch
It's really
that.
not important to me.
I'm going to watch it.
At all. I'm already invested. I don't care what you said on
That's true.
Jeff Macalino's
Sign here, please. No more pitch needed.
I said, do you want to come on and talk about the ups and downs of life? I can pay you $8,000.
Oh yeah, I should forward her that guy's email.
Yeah,
that's a perfect
Maybe she
match.
could go on. She could go on Club Shay Shay. All right. So anyway, I Google her because I'm like, candidate for Senate. You say,
and by the way, that's a form letter. Like, she did not look up Text Me Back podcast because she would know that we don't do clean/humor. We don't do dirty/humor. And I think she just got a list of the bottom 4,000 comedy podcasts and sent the same thing to everyone.
To all of them. Yeah, it's true.
She got this one Jeff Macalino credit. She fucking thinks she's the big pig on campus.
She thinks she's the big spider in the web. So all this says is quote unquote tarantula tosser. It does not give any additional context for what this means. I Google the person's name, or excuse me, as the kids say, I search up her name to see where is she running for Senate? Is she a Democrat? What's in her platform?
Yeah.
And what does she mean by tarantula tosser most critically?
I'm sorry, but we can't platform MAGA even if they have the most tantalizing animal themed credit.
And unfortunately, this woman is running as a Republican, which I actually didn't notice at first. I was so enthralled by the tale of the tarantula tossing that I didn't even notice at first that she was a Republican.
Yeah.
But apparently the state where she is running, she is so much of a loose cannon that even the state Republican Party was like, oh, no, girl. You can't be a part of this. So now she's been ostracized from the state Republican Party as well.
Wait, so what did she do with the tarantula? What happened?
So here's what she did with the tarantula. She threw it at her roommate. Tossed it right at him or her. I actually don't know. And I was like, what the fuck? Like as
a prank or like as a weapon?
I never got to the bottom of it. Here's what it says. Candidate charged in tarantula tossing faces opponent at forum. And it says, Mama DeMonica made national headlines when a video showed her playing loud music, banging pots and pans, screaming, and throwing a live tarantula down a staircase. She claims these actions were an attempt to evict her housemate from her home. And I don't think that's how you do it. I think you have to call the sheriff.
Yeah.
I think you need to initiate eviction proceedings. I think you have to prove it in court. I don't think tarantulas are involved.
It's not the traditional method, that's for sure.
It's certainly not. So I said, ho, this lady's crazy. Let us commence with a dialogue with Mama DeMonica. So I write her back and I say, whose tarantula was it?
That's immediately, I was already howling. That's the funniest possible email that you could send.
And it doesn't actually say in any of the stories, like, whose was it? Was it hers? Like, what happened?
It's so vague, if I recall.
It's so vague.
It's just like, she got in a fight.
Or it's like, was it in the house? Like, she found it?
Right.
Like a daddy long legs in the bathroom or something?
Because there's a part, I remember in one of the screen grabs that you sent me, where it's like the argument she was having with her housemate is that her housemate complained that there were too many spiders in the house. So then I'm like, was the tarantula one of the spiders, or did she hire the tarantula to help do spider control?
Well, so this is really the question. And by the way, this is just like those guys who use the snake as a weapon in the holdup at the gas station. Yes. We don't use animals as weapons in this way, people. No. Have we learned nothing from PETA? Anyways, so I write her back. I say, whose tarantula was it? She writes me back and says, LOL PetSmart for $32.55. First of all, that seems really cheap for a tarantula.
A life?
Does it not? A live tarantula?
Okay.
Anyway, and then I said, and at this point, I'm like, I want to see if I can get her to admit to a crime. Like, she seems really off kilter and maybe really dumb, which was a rude thing for me to think because it ended up not being true. She was a lot more savvy than I gave her credit for.
She freaking clamped down on your ploy.
So I wrote her back and I said, did you buy it with the intention of one day throwing it at someone, or was that a game time decision? And then she responded with an Instagram reel from the Daily Mail of a story about her throwing the tarantula.
Yeah, as though we didn't immediately read the Daily Mail about it.
I was like, ma'am, I got there already. Which it just says the same thing, where the Republican candidate accused her roommate of squatting, but her roommate insists she had paid rent to stay there, and DeMonica chucked the tarantula and was charged with 5th-degree assault, apparently.
I didn't even know they had a 5th degree.
I know. That's a lot. That's like, it's both a lot and not enough.
Yeah.
You know, it should have been 8th degree because of all the legs. You know?
It also should have been 1st-degree spider murder, because tarantulas, those tarantulas are fragile.
They're so fragile. And in fact, I wanted to know the status of the tarantula, who I guess we'll call Trevor the Taranch. So I wrote her back and I said, and is the tarantula still with us? Or... And then I also just thought, because I was like, okay, I can't get her to admit to like the intentionality. What I really want was like, did she have like a mens rea for like a higher degree assault so I could send it so I could snitch on her. I guess I'm like, I'm going to turn her into the cops for some reason. I became a snitch. But she didn't fall for it. Like again, more savvy than I gave her credit for. And that's on me. That's on my coastal elitism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then I said, and out of curiosity, what's your campaign stance on vaccines? Because I can't explain it, but everything about this is giving Make America Healthy Again. Yeah. Everything about this is giving Maha. And when I Googled her, in fact, she had like been arrested or cited a different time because her son was chucking snowballs at passing cars. Like everything about it is just giving that sort of like... Maha refusal to engage in societal norms.
And also RFK constantly doing weird stuff with animals and cars.
Yep. And dunking in shit rivers, which we just discovered. Shout out to him. So I said, out of curiosity, what's your campaign stance on vaccines? Hoping that she'd send me something just completely deranged that we could use on the show. And DeMonica says, haha, love to answer your questions on a podcast.
She got you.
She got me. She got my ass. We will not be endorsing this person for Senate or any other job. I think throwing spiders is bad.
Yep. We can't have you on the podcast and we don't like you. And I, as an arachnophobe, I also have a deep reverence for the natural world. And that's a gross thing to do.
It's a gross and mean thing to do.
To your roommate and to the tarantula. But more so to the tarantula.
I think so. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
And we hope you lose.
There's no chance. I've not, like, if you live where this lady's from, I'm sure you know who we're talking about. I don't think there's even a chance she'll get the nomination for her party, let alone win the entire state. You can't throw tarantulas at people, man.
No, yeah, you've really it was a big mistake. You've doomed yourself to a life of being immediately red flagged.
If even Republicans think what you have done is too far, but hey, DeMonica, if you're listening, which I guarantee you're not, if you can name one thing that's happened on this show, name one little bit of lore, then we'll have you on. But I know that was a form letter, girl. I know it was. And also, I don't mean that.
No, we won't be having you on. No,
you will not come on the show. And also, nobody have this person on the show.
Yeah, like
no,
you're trying to do like not an apology tour exactly, but like you're trying to like rebrand it as like, oh, haha, isn't it funny that I did that?
Yeah. Well, it's like she's like trying to lean into the wackiness of it, but it's like it's not actually. But it's not wacky.
It actually wasn't
funny.
Wacky. It's it's like the psycho actions of a serial killer. Like it's very scary.
I think what she thinks she's doing is like, oh, Joe Biden selling mugs that say Dark Brandon, or Joe Biden selling T-shirts of him eating ice cream, like leaning into this little bit of
she thinks she can reclaim
about them. Yeah, and we're not reclaiming tarantula tossing. No. It's bad. Also, $32 only for a tarantula? It's crazy. It's so cheap. Should be more. There should be like a higher threshold.
There really should.
I would if you're the DA for this case, first of all, FTP, we don't care for the police. But second of all, will you call us and let us know if she bought the tarantula with the express purpose of chucking it at her roommate?
Yeah. If you have insider information on this, on the court documents, can you
let us know?
Can you leak them?
Can you leak them
to us?
Leak them? All right. And that, friends, was our Animalia bag. So, Kingdom, phylum, species, order bag.
Oh my God, look at you. That was wrong, but
it was wrong.
It's kingdom.
What's the P?
The P is phylum.
Oh, it is? But it's the other. It's King Philip sailed over.
Species is last.
Great Spain. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, stop throwing tarantulas. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to end the show again. Bye, girl. Well,
Well, end of the show alarm.
oh God. We're having a nice time on Text Me Back Podcast. Your favorite podcast. Your favorite podcast's favorite podcast. Don't you think that's kind of true? I feel like people in the industry like our podcast. They just don't want to buy the podcast or help us make it.
They don't want to dim our sparkle by,
They just, you know what? They're jealous of our independence and they don't want us. Yeah, to dull our shine.
They don't want to like facilitate us selling out, you know?
I appreciate that.
I do
Because
too.
there's really nothing I would hate more than to pay my bills. That would suck.
That would suck.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks to everybody who supports the show on patreon.com/textmebackpod. By the way, there are free ways to support the show. I know things are evil and terrible.
Yeah.
And like you're thinking about maybe tossing a tarantula at your roommate. Don't.
Stop right there.
I urge you, stop. Let me stop you right there. Let me tell you one free thing you can do for this podcast. Tell your friend about it. Okay? We need help getting into the top 25 podcasts so we can win a Golden Globe.
Exactly.
Okay. And the only way to do that is if you tell all your friends to listen to our podcast immediately.
Maybe send a little text
Send a little text.
to your friend.
Say, hello,
Wouldn't
friend.
that be cute?
These girls are trying to win a Golden Globe.
I think we can do it. I think that should,
Yeah.
okay. So look, it's a long-term goal. This is a 5-year goal.
Yeah.
But if we only have to grow by, I don't know, 10 or 11,000% per year to get into the top
We're
25.
So close. So close.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, tell your friends about it. And also maybe you can always leave us a comment, leave us an accolade, a review on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, or you can engage with our YouTube, which is kind of fun.
Which is back, by the way. Full episodes are back. Thanks again to producer Allie. By the way, the reason we could bring back full episodes of this show on YouTube is because of your support.
Yeah.
Your Patreon dollars at work. You know, when they passed the American Recovery Act and there are big signs everywhere that said Barack Obama repaved this road?
Yeah.
Just imagine one of those signs on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Your Patreon dollars repaved this YouTube channel.
Text me back a light. Patreon bucks repaved this YouTube. And,
How you like that?
And it's so fun to see that in action. Like it's so tangible. It's like, look, Megan and I could not afford to do this. You guys stepped up because we have such a beautiful and adorable and sweet community here. And now we can be back on YouTube. And I don't know.
All I can say is salute. Salute to the Text Me Back lights.
Yeah.
Perfect angels, everyone.
I love you guys.
Perfect angels. Now there's an idea for the $12 tier. I'm writing that down.
Of course.
The Perfect Angel Circle.
Oh my God.
Perfect angels. Okay, adding that to the poll. Anyway, thanks for listening.
What if we called it the Super Perfect Angels Club and then it was Super Pack?
It would not have to follow any federal laws because we don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Campaign fraud. Ha ha. All right. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
We love you. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Text Me Back. If you like the show, please tell your best friend about us. Be sure to rate and review us. It helps people find the show. And most importantly, please support our Patreon so we can keep making this. It's patreon.com/textmebackpod. Text Me Back is a production of Megan and Lindy, proud members of the BFF network. Our senior producer is Megan Hatcher-Mays. Our other senior producer is me. Our show is supported by Co-Pilot Collective and produced by Allie Slice. Our digital strategist is Chance Nichols.
Diana Bowen is our video and creative wizard. Our production team includes Lindy West, Megan Hatcher-Mays, our loves, our anxieties, and our fears.
Our music is by Chief Ahamefule J. Oluo.
Special thanks to our perfect angels, Jeannie Yandel, Brandy Fullwood, and Isolde Raftery.
I'm Lindy West.
And I'm Megan Hatcher-Mays. See you next week. Mwah!